Welcome to Austin Eras, where we explore Austin's transformation into a 21st century boomtown and the voices shaping its past, present, and future.
What if Austin's next great social club isn't a country club? What if it isn't a gym? What if it isn't a bar? What if the sport most Americans are only just learning about isn't even something that we all know how to pronounce right? Padel was invented in Mexico, exploded across Spain and Latin America, and is now one of the fastest growing sports in the world. And here in Austin, Will Boyce is betting that moment is much bigger than just the sport. After coming to the United States through tennis, going to the University of Texas and getting a great career there, starting in finance and investment banking and watching Padel take off internationally, he made a decision. Come back to Austin. Not just to build the courts, not just to build a business, but to build a place that people want to stay. Today, Padel 39 is expanding across Austin and Texas with a vision that blends sport, wellness, hospitality, and community. But underneath all of that is a big question. Why Austin? Why now? And what does the rise of Padel tell us about what people are looking for in this city? I'm Adam Flagg, and this is the Austin Eras podcast. Will, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks a lot for having me. Amazing intro and excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. So, you go off from Austin, you get this great degree, you go into investment banking, you could be a finance bro the rest of your life. And I say that jokingly, but you could have stayed in New York. You could have built this concept in a lot of different places. You're watching Padel come up while you're in New York City. Why come back to Austin after all of that?
You know, it's a great question. I think first I went into investment banking. I was a bit probably built different. Like for me, investment banking was probably more of a mean to an end. It was a great line on the resume, and it was something I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So that's something that I knew in my core. But I wanted to do something like I was probably not a good entrepreneur if it was not something I was like passionate about. Like for me, it had to be a project, and some things I felt like I had expertise in. So while I was in investment banking, I was definitely curious. Like for me, it was all about finding what could I do to build something that I love. And why Austin was definitely for me essentially two factors. It was a business decision, and it was also a life decision. Like the business decision was, Padel was at the time only 200 courts in the U.S., most of them in South Florida, almost no courts outside of Miami, really. Okay. And just a bit of a beginning in New York City, and I saw all of the unit economics make sense, the business makes sense. It felt like they had a lot of market tailwind, and for me, I wanted an outdoor model. And when you're in the office all day, like you love being outdoor, and I personally, like selfishly, wanted to do something where like my leisure time is outdoor. So that's also what drove this outdoor model early on. And when you look outdoor across the country, there's only a few states that make sense. Yeah. And like you think of California, Florida, and probably Texas, the three main states. And between Houston, Dallas, Austin, personally, I loved Austin. I had graduated from UT Austin. It was some of the best years in my life. Just felt like, to me, Austin is probably the best city in the U.S. and if not one of the best city in the world. Like I feel like it has the right amount of people. It has a good mix of people, different opinions. I love having like different cultures, different political opinions. I think it's just healthy. And people like to try new things in Austin. People are young. They like the outdoors. So all of those factors really made Austin the perfect city to establish home.
Just triangulated right here.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's nice to come back to something you're familiar to, and we'll talk about that more as we go. But I want to tell our listeners who you are. So Will Boyce, founder of Padel 39. Yeah. You're originally from France, if people can't tell from your accent today. Yeah. So you came to the United States through tennis and played at King's College in Tennessee.
Correct.
And then transferred to the University of Texas and just became a student there and went through your academics. But you worked in finance investment banking, and you got an MBA from INSEAD, which is, I've heard of it being one of the best MBAs you can possibly get in the world.
It is, yeah. That's great, man. You've done your research. Yeah, you know a lot about me. Americans don't. I got into some of the top US MBAs as well. I was lucky. I was a good test taker, so okay. I was good at school and good at testing. So that got me in a few good schools. And it was the perfect opportunity to be back in Paris, and it's Paris and Singapore for a bit of time. It's extremely social MBA as well. Like you make great friends, great connections, and so being back there was perfect. And then after that, went into investment banking, and then the rest we already discussed. But
well, we're here. I want to show people. I mean, right now we have people playing Padel right behind us on the courts.
Yeah.
We're at the Padel 39 location, which is at East 5th in Springdale.
Yeah.
You have one other location in Austin in the Domain, and then a location in Dallas.
Correct.
So I want to take people back, actually.
Yeah.
I want to go to the early years. I want to take people back to France.
Okay.
Tell me about what it was like growing up in France, and what childhood looked like up until the time you left for college.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, childhood was amazing. I had loving parents, so like that's all you honestly all you can ask for, right? Like parents that support you, that that always cared about what my sister who works with me now, which is the best feeling in the world. Yeah. She's the general manager of the Austin clubs. But parents were amazing. They just were supporting us in whatever we like to do. We lived right outside of Paris. We both loved tennis. Like tennis was our passion. Both of us played a ton. My sister was much better than me in terms of like national ranking, and she plays various big tournaments and was a really good player. I was an okay player. Like he got me to play in the US, but like I love tennis, but tennis didn't necessarily love me back too much, which I think was good. So childhood was amazing. I was good. I mean, good student, and like my dad is actually, sadly, as you can hear, like I definitely have a French accent, but my dad is American and he's half French, half American.
Okay.
And he had this love for the US that like it's quite funny because like he's a proud, like he loves France, but he also like just loved the US so much that it was in my ears all the time when I was young. Like,
now, hold on, is that rare for France? I mean, we sometimes hear about. Okay.
100%. Like I was definitely, like not fighting at school, but definitely arguing about how better the US were than France. And it's funny because now I find myself doing the opposite here in the US, where, like you become more, I feel like when you are in another country, you become more patriotic. Like you love your country even more than where you were in that country. So you always end up comparing. Like you always think, oh, this is better there, or this is better. It's like a curse and a blessing at the same time, like knowing two different countries and two different cultures. So childhood was great. And so when I was in high school, you have the opportunity, I mean, if you're okay in tennis, like you have the opportunity to maybe just say, hey, can I go? And my parents couldn't afford, like French salaries are nowhere near the same as in the US. Like French people, like here I think there's this expression where we say like people work to live here, and here people live to work, and in France people work to live. And my parents were different driven, but they were more in the art world, and they were musicians and so forth. But and therefore like they just couldn't afford like the schooling system here, and I was lucky to get some scholarships to come here and make it to the US, and the rest is history. I've been here now for 14 years and 1 year in between in Paris.
Yeah.
And yeah, really good time. Have you been to Paris or to France yourself?
I've been to Paris twice, so it's a beautiful place. I feel like I've never spent enough time there. It's always just for a day or two or three. So tell me a little bit more about, you're in Tennessee playing tennis. How'd you get to UT? Were you just like, I'm done with tennis and I want to move on to academics, and you were able to just kind of transfer? How did that all get you?
Like for me, it was important that I graduated from a top school, like a really good degree, and like I had a 4.0 GPA, like in Tennessee, and tennis was fun and it was fine, but I just could tell like that school, the degree was not that great. So looking at some of the top programs across the country, and I definitely felt like the Cockrell School of Engineering at UT was a great program and a really good one. So I just applied on my sophomore year, thanks to, I guess, like resume or mostly academics. Like I got in and got a scholarship as well, and so I was able to transfer the first year. Actually, it's a fun story, and maybe I can tell it here in a really succinct way. But I was teaching tennis in the Hamptons during that summer, and I had gotten into UT But the first year, like I didn't have a scholarship, and it was $33,000 tuition fee, and I was looking into loans. Like you're a college kid, you don't know anything about finance or
no, there's no training in that.
Yeah, like
no.
you're just trying to figure it out. And my parents are from France; they don't know either. And so I'm teaching in the Hamptons tennis the whole summer, and I'm coaching this guy Scott. Hopefully, you listen to this podcast one day. But and he's a mentor of mine still to this day. We talk quite often, and I'm asking him questions about loans, and he's like, "Oh, let me look into it." And then we keep on talking about it for the summer, and he keeps being curious. Hey, are you gonna go to UT? And at some point in that summer, I was hesitating. I was almost not gonna accept the transfer just because I couldn't afford it. I had free schooling versus, and one day he invited me to dinner, and he tells me, hey, like I've been helped in the past. I want to help somebody, and here I pay for your school at UT Austin. So you pay for my tuition. And the deal was that if I had above 3.8 GPA, like I'll never need to pay him back, and if it was below that, I will need to. But it was just a way to drive me. And the fun story in this is actually the second year I ended up getting full scholarship. So he only had to pay for 1 year. So, so that was good in that sense.
I mean, the interesting part of your story is a lot of times athletics opens up more athletic doors.
Yeah.
Your story is athletics opened up academic doors for you in a lot of ways, but you had that drive that I think a lot of people might not have had to go, this is the mission that I'm on. It felt like you knew where you wanted to go.
Yeah, yes and no. I think sometimes when you look back, you always think it's part of a big plan, you know, and for anybody that's younger on this spot that might be listening to this is, I feel like, honestly, I still don't have my stuff figured out. Like, you always feel like there's so much unknowns in life. I don't know about you, but I felt like throughout my journey, I got lucky in some steps and maybe unlucky on some others. And like, I'm definitely always know directionally where I want to go, but there's always uncertainty.
So you have uncertainty. You get to Austin. It's a new place for you. What are your early memories of Austin when you first came to UT?
I remember like the first day. I finished coaching in the Hamptons. I take a plane like 2 days before the orientation day. I take a plane to Tennessee where all my stuff were, and pack everything in my Honda Civic 2001, first car I ever bought, $2,000. My wife, my girlfriend at the time, and we both make the transfer. My wife ends up also transferring to another school in Texas, not too far from UT. And we pack our stuff, we start driving, and like dumb college kid thinking the car can last 22-hour trip when it's 2001 car, and so it becomes the most miserable trips you can ever. Like, the car breaks down after 5 hours. Like, we're on the side of the road. Like, I have to call some type of, like, I don't have any type of like insurance or like getting a triple or whatever it is. Like, I'm just figuring things out, and like we get a guy in the middle of Tennessee picking us up. I don't understand his English. He doesn't understand my English. Like, I think his accent is worse than mine. He probably thinks my accent is worse than his. So like we go and so we finally make it. The trip that's supposed to be, I think, 21 hours, like drives end up being like the full 48 hours. Like I makes it to the orientation day with no sleeps. Like, I literally like make it with all my stuff in the back, park the car, and like make it to the UT orientation class. And I sit in there and like, I'm like, oh shit, what have I done? And I felt like I was with a bunch of nerds. Like, I felt like out of place. I thought like all of the guys were maybe much smarter than me, and like, I don't know if nerdy is the right word, but like more like definitely more academics than me. Like, I was always a bit like the guy was good at school, but also like that lacked sports, and so I felt out of place. Really, my first memory of Austin is because of that schooling. Is that first day I still remember, and I was like, did I do the right decision here? And maybe the lack of sleep. So that was on the academic side. Then the other memory is definitely like the whole shebang and misery of finding an apartment and all of those things. But the rest is actually just great memories. Is like making new friends quickly at UT and that are like lifelong friends now, and yet just like great weather. That's what I remember. You arrive in August. I mean, I love the heat, by the way.
It's nice right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I always think heat is great weather personally. And when you're from Paris and you have gray sky most of the year and rain, like, you definitely appreciate a sunny day and the heat. So yeah, those were the early memories. Is definitely bumpy start, but it was a fun start too.
Here's the real question. 2001 Honda Civic. How much longer did it last?
Done.
It was
like,
done?
It was done. He made it here. And then I parked it at my apartment, and then I just ended up like taking the bus everywhere I go. I worked the whole year, like coaching tennis already and doing other stuff to be able to start buying another car.
So, I mean, you leave UT and you go off to, do you go to the MBA and then investment banking, or which order do you go?
No. I graduate, no real experience in engineering, and I just have like questions. The last year is just tons of questions you ask yourself. Is like, hey, do I want to go there? And I haven't tested the work too much, to be honest. But talking to all my friends, and everybody had done internships, I realized I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to be working more in a silo. Like, I'm a collaborative person. I feel like I always felt like my skill set has always been a bit more of like I would say like natural leader, like somebody that likes to take on projects that have people that buy into what I do, whether it's like organizing like fitness groups with my friends, whether it's anything I do, like I'd love to like build small community around me and bring people together, and it felt like I wasn't capitalizing on that strength with this. So it's a bit of there's definitely like a year of like uncertainty and doubt on what at the time I graduated, I'm still coaching tennis on like what's next.
Okay.
And you know, you're young, you're trying, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm like, oh, what can I do? Minimal capital, and there's this whole things of like marketing, digital marketing, and that's like minimal capital investments. And so I started being curious about that, take a few courses, talk to a few people, and I decided to create a small digital marketing agency and go after, like, knock on people's door and say, hey, I can do this, I've learned about this, I can run ads for you, or like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, can build landing pages and so forth, and I do that with a friend of mine, and like I'm more on the sales side, he's more on the operation side, and the company does well fairly quickly. Like, we grew it to like $1 million run rate revenue, and like we doing okay, and it's like
in your early 20s.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. We do good, great reflex, really good reflex, and we. It's fun, it's fine, but it's not what I love. Like, I definitely still feel like there's a bit of, I don't think unhappiness is the word, but there's definitely, you want more, you know? You want to have a bigger impact, you want to do bigger projects, I felt like it was really transactional, it was just a mean to an end, like, and I need to do something better, like bigger, something that I can have a bigger impact on people and for something I care about. And so that's where the whole business school, like kind of like reorientation in life, and like trying to like having lines in your resume, if you will, that can pay for the future, like, comes into play. So I applied to I take tests fairly quickly, apply right away to some top business school, get in right away, go into INSEAD for the reason I mentioned earlier, and that's how I pivoted into the investment banking afterwards.
So you finish at INSEAD, you go into investment banking, you're in New York City. How long are you in New York? What's New York like for us Austinites here?
Yeah, it's you've been to New York too? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an intense city.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fun, especially if you're in your 20s. It has so much to do. It has, like, you have everything all the time, anytime. You have great sports, great entertainment, great concerts. You have a lot of different people. I feel like it's really easy to meet interesting people. Everybody is driven. Like, everybody is trying to be the best at what they're doing. And I think we're there for about 2 years, just a bit less. And we, like, so she became my wife. We married while we were in New York. And my wife and I enjoy New York, but we know, like, if we want to raise a family at some point, and we also know, like, this is just not for us. It's a good like time throughout your life to experiment, but not necessarily a long-term project. Then.
So you were ready to walk away in a sense and come to Austin. Was the business plan formulated in New York City, and then you came here?
Yeah, it was. So, really it had to be business first. Like I was betting like my next career journey, like, as you said, like I made it to Wall Street. Like it's like 0.001% or whatever the amount. Like everybody tries to be there, and I'm there now. I'm working hard. I'm like, my colleagues like me. Like I'm doing well. All of those things, and for me, like I'm like, okay, either I keep going that path, but I'm not necessarily happy per se. Like, or I still stick to the plan.
Yeah.
What can I do? Something that I care about that can be a bigger mission. And so, like, Padel comes around, like it's growing all over the world, but there's nothing in the US. And so when I start, like, I go home maybe every 6 months, once a year, and more time I go home, more times I are playing Padel, like throughout those 2 years. And I'm like, already I was playing a few times before coming to New York. I had played a few times with my friends, and I was surprised there was nothing in New York City. So from the moment I moved, like I could feel not the problem, but definitely like the opportunity. And so I just stay curious throughout the whole time in investment banking. And so when I decided that like the business decision was right, that's really what, like, I was there, I was working. I say, okay, let me quit my job and let me focus 100% into Padel, into this next Padel business. And so you look at, like I said earlier, so many different factors, and you start visiting sites. So I was taking trips from New York. I took trips probably like to 20 plus cities all around the U.S. looking at sites.
20
everywhere.
plus cities.
Yeah, from Washington, Chicago, Boston, LA, San Diego, San Francisco, like everywhere. I looked at real estate sites.
Yeah.
Miami, Orlando, Tampa, Austin, Dallas, Houston.
Time, money, commitment.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes into what you did.
Yeah, 100%. The first is your money. Like you quit whatever the bonuses were the previous years. You just spend it. And you go and you take the bet, and you educate yourself. You look at sites. You start having more of an eye for what you think we like. And I still feel like we're learning. I think our first site was good, and I think our second site here in Austin was even much better, just because of the things we learned. So to answer your question, it was New York, everything made from New York, and just being curious about where next made sense, and that's how I ended up coming to Austin, which I'm glad. You're originally from here, or?
No, I'm not. I'm from the Midwest, so I moved here 19 years ago, though. So,
you've seen it. You've seen it grow. I felt like 2014 is the first year I moved compared to now.
Yeah.
Just so many, the amount of buildings downtown. I felt like I still remember looking at downtown and maybe seeing 5-6 towers, maybe. I could be wrong, but just mostly some in rainy streets, some in downtown, and now it's
wild.
Yeah.
And the building has slowed some, but we're seeing just constant development and constantly new things.
Great.
It's great to be a citizen, someone that lives in Austin that gets to look around and go, there's something new for me every weekend.
Yeah.
And that's really great, but that's also a challenge for your company. We're going to talk more about that. Is like, hey, how do you get someone to come here and actually want to come back and really enjoy that community?
Yeah. For us, I feel like right now it's fairly straightforward, I don't know if easy is the right word, but like I was looking at numbers yesterday. We always, with the ops team, look at all the numbers. Like, since we've opened this, we have about 130 to 150 new players every week.
Wow.
It's insane. Like, tennis clubs will dream to have that amount of new players every week. So we definitely are attracting people. We're retaining a ton. Like, courts are full all afternoon, evenings. Social events are also full. So we're definitely benefiting right now. We're a bit of like the cool place to be. Like, paddle is a cool sport.
Yeah.
It's a bit of, I hate that word, but like VIP sports still, like, or at least in people's head. Like, it's definitely like early on it was like the sport of the celebrities and the rich people and so forth. So it still has a bit of that cachet and that attribute to it, that like there's a cool factor to the sports on itself. And the place we try to build is definitely capitalizing on that. We're trying to build a bit more of a premium experience and so forth. So I think we have a natural, by building something good, I think that helps us attracting without doing too many efforts in marketing. Like, it's not like we're spending crazy amount on marketing.
But you know how to market, because you obviously built a good marketing company.
Yeah. And I'm honestly, now I feel like I'm 100% out of touch. Like, I'm not the one making, like, I make strategy decision to some degrees on where and how we should spend some of our capital and what to do. But like we have a great team, and all the credit goes to them on like whether it's managing our social media or other aspect of the digital marketing we do.
We've been talking around the sport. We had the sport behind us here for a bit as they're playing, but I want to bring people up to speed on what is this sport. So before I say that, I said, what is this sport? Because it's been fun getting to know you the last couple months, learning about what you do here, and then coming out here. I've heard it pronounced Padel, Padel. I've even heard other people maybe mince it and put it in between. But tell me about this sport and how do we pronounce this?
Yeah, I mean, first, I feel like no one should take any advice from me on pronunciation based on my accent. So that's like, I've been asked that question a few times, and I always think I'm not the right person to answer it because I'm guilty of pronouncing it both ways. Padel.
You've used it interchangeably.
I use it like I tend to say paddle 39 and then I say I play paddle, like, so I'm definitely doing both. I think like in France we say on va jouer au padel, so like we say maybe a bit more padel. In Spanish too. I think you can really go both ways. I think most people now in the US just say I go play paddle.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I look at the sport and I've heard it described as tennis and squash. I've seen people say tennis is like playing checkers and paddle is like playing chess. I mean, I've seen different quotes about it. What draws the typical person into this sport when they come to the club?
Yeah, one, it's extremely social. Like, you 4 people on the court. It's like playing doubles, but it's even more social because you're closer together. Like in the tennis court, you're so far away from each other. You're in an enclosed space, so the balls never goes too far away. In tennis, you can spend a lot of time picking up balls. The balls are right there. There's quick amount of time between points, so you go. Like, it's an hour and a half of always going. So that to me, that aspect already excited me. The other two really were the contact points. Like, I'm sure you have listeners that loves playing pickleball on this podcast, and pickleball is a great sport, and I love it because I think it's a great introduction to racket sports, and I think it's also like you have fantastic athletes that are playing pickleball. But my only not war with pickleball, but my only definitely where I think paddle is just so much superior is the contact point, like the feel of making contact. Like, anybody that plays tennis will tell you there's nothing that feels better than hitting the sweet spot in when you make contact in tennis, and in paddle you always feel like you're hitting the sweet spot. The contact always feels so pure, so good. And the last thing, which I think is one of the most important one, it's really easy and there's this say. I guess the two last thing. One say is paddle is really easy to pick up. It's fun and challenging to master. So that's a great thing about the sport. And then the last thing for me, it's really easy in paddle to have a memorable shot. To have at the end of the day, when you're done playing, you will remember one of the shots you made. Whether it was a double wall, you hit it against the side wall, you run out for the more advanced players, or whatever that might be. I think all of those elements, to me, and I started with social. All of them made me think that it was just a great sport to play personally, and also a great sport for a business for various reasons that we can expand on. But yeah, so that's what drove me to Padel.
So why is the U.S. ready for this now?
I mean, honestly, the simple answer is just because it's a great sport.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. It just needs good operators throughout the country and capital, investors that believe in operators, to build the spaces, and the people will come. I mean, we're about to see a lot more paddle operators and a lot more courts in the coming years in the U.S.
I want to bring this back to Austin for a second, because I'll call you a global citizen, right, of sorts.
I guess,
Paris to Tennessee to Texas to New York and Singapore and everything else that you described. You've been all over, and I think this sport is global in a sense. We watch Drive to Survive, and some of the F1 racers are playing paddle. I think that, what is it about Austin as a global city that you think helps maybe drive this or be an early adopter of paddle versus maybe going to a different city that you had experience looking at?
There's definitely two criteria I looked at. One is how, I don't know if the sentence is correct, but how Hispanic is the city. Is there a big percentage of Hispanic demographics in that city? Because historically, that's a sport that has been dominant in South America and Spain. And so that aspect of Austin helped with early adopters. Like Hispanics already had the sport awareness, and they already knew about it. The other one is Europeans. So Austin had that too. Like it has major headquarters. It has global companies bringing people on O1 visa, H1Bs, you name it. Like just ton of people. UT is a great feeder as well. So like for me, I looked at that criteria as well. It's like, hey, is there European? Is there Southern Americans, Central Americans? And if the answer is yes, then I think it's a good city. And Austin was that. Like,
absolutely.
And the other factors, it's young. It's part of Texas' fastest growing state in the U.S. in so many different factors. It's a city that likes to try new things, like tons of new CPG products are here, tons of new companies come here. So all of that made Austin the right city.
It's definitely a city of early adoption.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
I
cheap
definitely
Austin
think that.
weirds. Like, I mean, people like to try new things. Yeah.
Now we're sitting here just a few weeks after you open this East Austin location. I want people, they could see the courts. How many courts are here right now?
On this one, we have 12 courts, 11 double courts and one single court, first single court in Austin. Probably first single in Texas. I'm not sure if it's the first single in Texas, but first in Austin for sure.
So paint the picture of what this place looks like. If someone was going to come to your club on a Tuesday night or on a Saturday, what's their experience going to look like here?
Yeah, the facilities, I think, beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm definitely biased. We had great designers, and it has. We try to build. For us, we spend a lot more of our capital like building like social spaces. Like we're just trying to have a space where people can come and hang out and like spend more than 1.5 hours than just playing Padel. They stick around and watch a game. And tonight we probably have. There's a Mexico game. Last week with the Mexico game, we had like over 1,000 people.
It's crazy. I love this. And you just opened.
Yeah. So you'll get a ton of people coming to watch and just also like not playing paddle, just go and watch the World Cup. So it's that space is 12 courts. It's we care about wellness as well. I mean, social, paddle, and wellness are 3 pillars. We have beautiful locker rooms. We have cold plunges, sauna. We have a coffee shop. We have a sports bar. We have Discover Terrace. We have a big screen over there in the back. Like I think it's the biggest screen in Austin, Texas, outside of the Q2 Stadium and Moody Theater. Like outside of like stadiums.
I'm staring right at it. It's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah, it's across 2 different shipping containers.
Yes, yeah. So we went big.
Yeah,
like everything is bigger in Austin, in Texas, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's the space. We try to keep it clean, modern, yet authentic. We have all of those branding keywords that I won't bore you with, but definitely trying to build a space where it feels good to spend time in. I think that's the key summary.
Well, I want to talk about those keywords actually, the third place, the community, all of that, because I think when we first talked about this, one thing that stuck with me was that yes, this sport's important and this is an amazing time to learn about paddle, but there's this idea of building community that you talked about. You mentioned to me that there were people you talked to that liked Austin but maybe hadn't found their place here. So how are you kind of filling that gap in what Paddle 39 does between the domain and this East Austin location?
Yeah. So earlier when we walked through the whole my history and whatnot, one thing we didn't go into too many details, but I moved around a lot. And we also, when I was doing the agency, we lived all across. My wife was for her work. We moved to Denver, to Colorado in the mountains, to Phoenix, Arizona, to LA. We've lived all around, and for the last 13 years, how many times we moved? We always go to new cities and make new friends is not easy. Making new friends, and here right now, I feel like it's one of the time in my life where I've had the most friends or people that I love spending time with, and that's a big time thanks to Paddle 39. I built this also selfishly for myself to meet new people, and I think for us is we recognize early on when you. A lot of decisions are driven obviously by business macro data and when I started this, I looked at a lot of reports, Deloitte reports from Playtomic, like the keywords that people use of like why are they playing paddle is always the same. It's social.
Yeah.
Social is always the number one. For the 7 years they've run that report, that's always the number one criteria why people play paddle. And so I thought that was interesting. Like, okay, it's social, but some places just don't focus enough on that. They just go and build a court, it's transactional, they just go play and then get out. So we wanted to capitalize on this and build a space that can return them and program around that. So for us, it came down to doing two things. Building the space, as I talked a bit about earlier, and then programming around it, whether it's for listening to music or DJs and like having more of a like Friday night type of vibe, whether it's to watch sports game like the World Cup, whether it's to go play paddle, whether it's to work out, whether it's to do, I think this last weekend we had like some type of like Pilates event, wellness event with like hundreds of people. So like all of those things like bring our demographic together.
What are people telling you? What's the feedback you're getting from the guests and people that are here of how you might be transforming or helping them?
Yeah. So I don't know. This one I struggle with because one thing about French people that's amazing is they tell you what they think.
Okay.
Like they don't mind like talking you down or like they'll tell you the truth. Like the feedback has been amazing. Like only positive things. Like people are like just raving about it. I really feel like we're the cool place to do. But I also don't know if it's 100% true because I mean we only have 5-star review. Hope like knock on wood it stays that way.
Okay. Right.
And on this location, like the feedback is really good. But also, is it just because people are being nice to me and they tell me what I want to hear? Versus, I'm sure if I had all of those customers were friends, I'm sure I will hear complaints because we love to complain.
Yeah. I think Austin looks like one of the most social cities in America. You've got
100%,
driven people,
yeah.
You got people that are making money, people that are trying to excel in their career. But why do you think so many people struggle to find their people? Speaking from experience, you have moved around and gone different places.
You know, I think there's just not the spaces that are built for this, like or the right entertainments around it. You can go to fitness classes or like Barry's boot camp or like something. I think those are great. I mean, awesome, but I think they're just not built around meeting new people. I mean, it's just really, it's you go, you do it, and then you get out. The same thing with going to the gym. Like you might just go with your headphones. So I don't think there's too many places built around sport. That's partly why also pickleball, I think, has done so well. And I think that's one amazing thing about pickleball is that it's extremely social. I also like that concept too, is those... whether it's Soho House or Driftwood downtown or like Soho House being more of a nationwide, I mean not nationwide but international places. I think they're solving that problem to some degrees. Not once again, Soho House was built around art, right? That was there. Us, we just wanted to do it in similar fashion, but more geared towards around sports and more specifically around the sport of Padel.
Yeah, I love that. Will, this has been a great time. I'm enjoying this conversation. We hope our listeners are too. And we make sure our listeners are subscribed to Austin Eras. You can find us at austinaras.com. I want to share with people that we've launched a new newsletter called the Austin Eras Listening Room, focused on people, places, culture, music, food, and stories shaping Austin. We're doing giveaways, sharing recommendations, and creating more ways to connect with the show. And beginning after the summer, we'll be hosting monthly Austin Eras happy hours around the city. Our first one is August 27th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Brutorium. You can find out more details through the newsletter or through the website and can RSVP there. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Will Boyce with Padel 39.
In every episode of Austin Eras, we uncover the city's history, vibrant present, and bold future. Just like Austin, your financial journey is a story worth crafting. At Collective Advisors, led by Adam Flagg, Managing Partner, Senior Wealth Advisor, and Certified Financial Planner Professional, your story is in skilled hands. From investments to retirement planning, Adam and his team bring together a collective of dependable professionals to help you build, maintain, and enjoy financial security. Start your financial legacy today at collectiveadvisors.com or call 512-467-1923. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Welcome back to the Austin Eras podcast. I'm your host, Adam Flagg, and we're here with Will Boyce of Padel 39, or we're calling it Padel 39. We can go either direction, and that's the fun of it. It's really interesting to talk sports with you, and I want to talk a little bit more about your Austin connection. So a few questions for you. I know you have a new child pretty recently. So how has Austin changed for you as a parent?
It's changed quite a bit. I don't go that often I live right by the Ladybird Trail.
Yeah.
So I don't go as much on the trail running. I still should probably, but I mostly go on the trail walking with my son.
Is there an activity that you'd say to young parents, hey, this is something we really love to do as a family now?
Yeah, I mean, this is our firstborn. Like, we've never had a firstborn child. He's only 5 months, so it's still like not a newborn anymore, but it's still definitely of a young one. I mean, like the main activity we get to do with him still at this point is like going on walks with him.
Yeah.
And like walk on Ladybird is amazing. I think that's one of the number one reason why I think Austin is a beautiful city is that trail, and we're lucky we live right by it. So we just go. I will advise any parents like going on a walk. As soon we'll be able to go on a run with him. I think 6 months, I believe, is what they advise like starting. We have the roller ready. Stroller ready, so we're ready to go for it.
I love that. You guys have a coffee shop here. You have some food here. Tell me your best place outside of Padel 39 that you'd suggest people go to that you love.
I have one. I'm proper La Piscina, like the Mexican place at the proper hotel La Piscina. I think it's amazing. I think they have maybe the best frozen margarita in town. Some people say it's the best frozen margarita here, but I think it's a close tie with us. And the food is delicious. It's great vibe, very great design. And so, I think it's always a good time there. If
you have guests coming to Austin for 36 hours with you, what are the activities you're doing out and about with them? Where are you taking them?
Yeah, we've had a lot of friends visiting us, so we have our go-to plan. We book La Piscina for dinner, so that's excellent. Definitely, and then maybe have a drink afterwards there downstairs or something like that. We definitely take them to Padel 39 during the day, during the evening, maybe play Padel right before going to dinner, and then it depends on if it's a weekend or not, but we definitely we do one of those metro bikes, like one of those bikes around Ladybird, just rent the bike and do the loop all around Ladybird, and then maybe stop at Barton Creek, go to Barton Creek for...
Barton Springs?
Sorry, Barton Springs.
Yeah.
Go to Barton Springs for a tiny bit, and then go back on the bike, do the full loop, and then go walk South Congress.
Excellent.
And that's, I think, South Congress and maybe all the way to the Capitol if they're feeling courageous.
Yeah, that's a long walk.
I don't mind it, but so it's a lot of outdoor stuff. Hopefully it's not raining during that day, and we do all of those things.
You've been in Austin a long time. You've probably had mentors and different things that you've seen around town. If you could go to dinner with any Austinite, living or dead, that maybe has had an influence on you, who would it be and why?
You know what? I'll go the sports route because also business, and he's a bit of a. I don't know if he has a podcast. Andy Roddick. I mean, he's Austinite, and also, I mean, he's not in Austin that much anymore. But I think it'd just be cool. I love tennis. He was definitely a tennis star during my childhood. Like, reached number one in the world. Won. I don't remember how many Grand Slams, but I mean, amazing tennis player, and also like cool to hear like his stories post tennis career. So I think I'll go more of with an athlete more than with a business person.
I love it, Andy Roddick. I mean, he started a great foundation too, right? And they do fundraiser every year. So I mean, he's had a huge impact on the city. From the time you visited Austin when you first came to school here to today, what's felt different? How's the city changed in the last few years?
It just got bigger. It just feels like it's more and more of a bigger city. The people haven't changed too much. I feel like it still have that great atmosphere and great vibe, but it just feels like more intense. Just maybe a bit more traffic, a bit more things. Perhaps just a bit more things to do, even more of it. And I don't know if it's also because I'm a different stage in my life too. You know, like when you're a student versus you already are working and so forth. So just bigger and maybe even more fun.
I want to take this now from kind of the fun and predicting of Austin to more back to Padel 39 and back to the city. You've opened 2 locations here, and I heard potentially a 3rd location coming to Austin soon. Why the urgency to expand? I mean, do you feel like you're going to continue to open more and more places here, or do you feel like there's other cities you want to look at?
Yeah, we're going nationwide next. We have a 3rd location in Austin coming, and then that will be it.
Okay.
So for us, it's going to be 3rd one in Austin, and then going all across the country.
So what cities remind you of Austin when you start looking at other places you want to expand to? And you may not want to share every secret top place you want to go, but what are some places that remind you?
I think Nashville is definitely one of them. I think we also look at like market penetration, like Padel, how many clubs are there out there and things of the sort, as well as like the behaviors of the city. I think Nashville is probably, there's a few others, but like the prime example, probably Nashville is the perfect comparable.
You know, there's a lot of businesses that found themselves around the founder. The founder's the face of everything. And you told me earlier, hey, I want to build a big business, a successful business, not about me so much. How do you build that major lifestyle brand without becoming the face of it?
I don't mind being the leader behind it and like representing and voicing and making strategy decisions, but it doesn't have to be about me. Like the business is about Padel, and it's about Padel 39 and what he offers. So another way to answer your question too is, how can you make clubs successful when you're not as much involved in the day-to-day, like when the founder is not like there every day, and I think we've already figured this out. Like we have GMs, and we just brought in the CEO, ex-CEO of SoulCycle, which was a big
huge.
So big hire for us, and he's helping with nationwide. And it comes down to like right culture within the company, right training, bringing the right people. And so I've already been detached from the operation more at strategic level. So that's how you do it in terms of like, how can you grow the concept without having the founder involved in the day-to-day while still representing and spearheading the growth of the business?
You've told me that you want to be able to host some tournaments and have some pro or high-level players here. Can Austin become one of the most important cities for Padel in the entire world?
I think it'll take time in the U.S. for sure. I mean, we Austin is the 2nd biggest city in the U.S. now for Padel after Miami, and honestly, that's thanks to us. I'm humble sometimes, but like there's time where we need to be proud, and like that we have been one of the driving, and not only thanks to us, but we are major contributors to this. Like we've been driving the growth of Padel in Austin, and so like the U.S. Austin is already capturing that, and we're already attracting. I mean, we're sponsoring a guy that's like top 40 in the world. Is sponsored by Padel 39 on his shirt. We have guys that, I mean, last night, a guy from Argentina, 150 in the world, comes and train here quite often. So we are already attracting the best players in the world. I think to become the top place in the world, it's like Qataris really invest a lot in Padel. Spain as well, and then I mean Miami is big. So at the end of the day, it also comes down to capital and money. Is like, as there enough investors, enough people wanting to contribute to build more space and more entertainment and more tournaments around Padel in Austin? And all bets is that the answer is yes.
Final question. Years from now, this is the legacy question. What do you hope people say about Padel 39 and what you brought to Austin?
I think honestly the main thing is like, I hope they'll say that Padel 39 helped them making new friends. Like for me, I think that's the mission statement we're on, is like making new friends, like through sports, through Padel. So I hope that's how we will be remembered, is like a place where they found new people and they make those new connections, and that probably hopefully lasted for life, or they made the new partner or so forth. So that's our hope.
I love that. I think the takeaway I have from this episode and really listening to you, Will, is just the passion for the sport, but the passion for building a community. And I think the mission that you're on right now is really fun and exciting. And I hope people come out and really check out your facilities, because they're clean, they're well run, They're exciting. There's a lot to do here. I think you're going to attract a lot of ambitious people and people that just really want to learn the sport and make new friends. So thank you so much for being on the Austin Era Show.
Thanks for having me. It was a great chat.
You've been great. Will Boyce with Padel 39, the founder of Padel 39. I'm Adam Flagg, the host of Austin Eras. We hope you tune into all of our episodes anywhere you get your podcasts. And thanks again, Will, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Austin Eras, featuring Adam Flagg, is brought to you by Collective Advisors. Collective Advisors offers investment advisory services through CWM LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Guests on Austin Eras are not affiliates of CWM LLC, and opinions expressed by guests may not reflect those of CWM LLC. This show is intended for educational and entertainment purposes and is not intended to provide specific legal, tax, or other professional advice. For a comprehensive review of your personal situation, always consult with a qualified professional.